Hi, it's Tanya, and today I'm gonna show you some of the books I have bought in the past maybe 3 months. I'm sorry if I sound weird, I have been sick for like 2 weeks and I've been losing my voice constantly, so I'm just hoping I'm not losing my voice during this video. It's also been like a month since I have filmed anything, so it feels really weird to sit here. I don't want to start rambling too much, so I'm just gonna show you the books. Most of these books I have bought secondhand because I love going to thrift shops and secondhand shops and just looking for books. I also ordered a few books online, so I'm gonna show you those first. I had to buy Obsidian by Amy Kaufman and J. Christoph. I read Illuminae earlier this year and I finished Gemina in July maybe. I've been really liking the series, so obviously I had to buy this. It has taken so long for me to read this because I hit a reading slump. I have read like 100, almost 200 pages of this, and then I hit the reading slump, so I kind of just stopped. But I'm really liking it so far, and hopefully I will finish it like this year. I also found these really cheap editions of these classics, so I had to get some of these. I got The Picture of Dorian Gray, which I have read in the past. I really want to read it again, so I wanted to get it. I also got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which I have wanted to read so long, and I only today noticed that this has some other stories in this book too, so that's interesting. And the last one is Frankenstein, which I also have been wanting to read for so long. These are such big classics and everyone knows them, so I feel a bit stupid for not having read them, but hopefully that will change soon. I know this would be the perfect time of the year to read these, but we'll see. All the rest of the books are from second-hand shops and things like that. First I have Jäniksen vuosi by Arto Paasilinna. I think this is The Year of the Hare in English. I talked about this in my July wrap-up maybe, and I really loved it. I listened to the audiobook, so when I found this in a thrift shop for like 50 cents, of course I had to get it. It's a really sweet and short story about this guy who finds a rabbit and they become friends. Arto Paasilinna writes like humorous satire type of stuff, so it's a really light read and it's a really short read too. I also found this other book by Arto Paasilinna called Hurmaava joukkoitsemurha a few days ago from a thrift shop. I read this earlier this year or last year maybe, and I really liked it. I don't know if this has been translated into English, but I'm gonna leave the title somewhere on the screen if I can find the English version. The title means something like a charming mass suicide, so as you can probably guess, it's actually a really funny story. I enjoyed reading it and I'm happy to have it on my shelf. And the last Finnish book I have for this video is Synnintekijä by Milja Kaunisto. I still haven't read this. This has been on my TBR for quite a while now. This is the first book in like a historical series. I think this takes place in 1425 in Finland and in France, I think. It sounds really interesting to me even though I don't know much about the series, but I have seen so many people talk about these books, so I want to read them. I also really like the covers of these books, especially one of the later books, because it has a skull and I love skulls. So the little materialistic person inside me is really hoping that I love this book so I can buy the rest of the series too. I think I have mentioned this before in some of my videos, but I collect Agatha Christie's books and I found a couple from thrift shops, so I had to get these. These are called Lord Edgware Dies and Endless Night. I haven't read The Endless Night yet, but I'm looking forward to it. One thing that made me really happy when I found this in a thrift shop was Winnie the Pooh. I don't own that many children's classics, but I really want to get some, especially the ones that I really like. I think I have read this like years ago, but I can't remember. I have read like parts of it during the years, but I just love this because this obviously has those illustrations and everything, so I really want to read it at some point. And last but not least, I have something that I was really excited to find. I found the whole Twilight series for €2 in a thrift shop. I used to own like the cheap mass market paperbacks in Finnish, but I sold them a few years ago when I didn't feel like I was gonna read them again. But then I started to think that I really wanted to own them because even though they weren't my thing anymore, they were such a big part of my teenage years. I read this series a few times, especially the first book. I read that so many times, and I always wanted to own like the proper version, like these books, either in English or in Finnish. So I was so happy when I found these in a thrift shop. €2 well spent. I read the series again like a year ago or 2 years ago. I still like the first book enough that I gave it like 3 stars or something. The second and the third book were like 1 star each for me, and I never realized how fucking big the last part is until I got this. And I know that even though I gave some of the parts 1 star, I'm still gonna read the series again at some point. Those are most of the books I bought in the past few months. There were a few months when I didn't buy that many books, but I feel like when I joined BookTube again, I started getting more books, which happens probably to everyone. But I'm really happy about these books because I have either read many of them or they have been on my TBR for quite a while, so I know I will read them. I don't think any of them are gonna be sitting on my shelf for like 15 years and then I just get rid of them because I never read them. At least I hope so. But anyway, I've been rambling too much and my throat is really hurting, so I'm gonna go drink some tea now. I hope to see you next time. Moi moi!